Hey.
Hello. Hello, and welcome to a book review. So, I'm going to share my screen because this is the book that Pierre read. I'm an employment specialist, and one of the keynotes to me is what happens when you lose your job? A lot of things, and it's terrible, right? But we never really talk about it. So, I think today in the book review, we're going to talk about keeping your head after losing your job, how to survive unemployment by Robert L. Leah, PhD. So that's the book that we read. You can buy it on Amazon. And we're going to start with chapter 1, which was looking differently at where you are now. So, what was chapter 1 for you?
Oh, I think, well, thank you very much, Laurette. As Laurette said, my name is Pierre, and I, I'm a client of
Former
hers,
client, you graduated, so
or
congratulations.
graduated.
Yeah,
You know.
so this is your
Oh,
experience through all of the things that you've lost and haven't lost.
yeah. So the first chapter is really about is what happens now that you lost your job. The way I look at this chapter is about um, where, as I said, like after you've lost your job. So first off, if you lost if you lost your job, whether it's through parting ways with your company, or you were terminated, or you were fired, I'm really sorry to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, first of all, losing your job stinks, no matter what. It's I know it comes with all of these losses that you used to have. Like it means so much, the loss of income, security, status, benefits, all of these things you used to have. Like all of a sudden, in a moment, it's it's gone. And you might be feeling like vindictive, sad, and uh, and there's just like this void because you used to have this routine. You have like all these responsibilities, and it's almost like a relationship that just ends. You know? And it's affecting uh, uh, like millions, hey, maybe even billions of people. But know this: it's not just happening to just alone. You know, it's happening to the others as well. And I remember my father even told me, "Hey, it's happened to him as well." So just know that you're gonna bounce back. It's just a matter of how you handle it. And
Yeah, in your notes it says how where I don't know what's going on. um it's time to reinvent yourself. So like you
yeah,
lost your job, now what? Let's start a new dream. So I really like that part. Redefine yourself.
hmm yeah. It's really funny that you mentioned. I already met we you talk about redefining yourself, because one of the things that I realized that it was that um, in this that after I had been with this job for a good amount of years, I realized, hey, well, at least I don't have to wear a tie anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and also I had I had a specific hairstyle for a while. I used, in fact, to be specific, I used to have the dreadlocks. I started to grow um, in 2010. In fact, yeah, this is what I used to look like back in 2010. And then I grew out my hair up until 2016. In fact, I even have like a photo of the very last day before I cut my hair. And then I decided, that I would just cut it all off.
Yeah.
And then I just said, this is going to be just a new way to reinvent myself, and that I would, for work, I would be just dressing up in like a dress shirt, dress pants, or like just a nice sweater, nice pants, because I'm really. It took my previous job to realize how much I'm like a jeans and t-shirt type of guy.
Yeah. So chapter 1, it's new, like create yourself new, right? So self-care, build self-esteem, have some self-criticism, acknowledge emotions, have a plan of self-action, like don't isolate yourself, keep in touch, make connections, and build relationships. So one last statement of like chapter 1, how would you summarize chapter 1?
Well, how to come? Well, there's two ways that you can cope with your reality.
Mhm.
Okay, you can be proactive or counterproactive,
Mhm.
and that's that part that you were talking about.
Mhm.
Those examples they were citing. You can there's actually you can separate it in two. The there's counterproactive actions like the poor health habits, like rushing into things, worrying about money, and there's so many examples that I can tell you. I actually made my mistakes.
Yeah.
Poor health habits. I've done it. Rushing into things. Done it. Worry about money. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Being
Really
inactive.
good
Yeah,
old.
it goes on. Be negative self-criticism, like emotions controlling you, isolating yourself,
Mhm.
where you're at one point you're not in touch with your friends. Check. Oh yeah, done it. Fighting with your family. Um, I haven't done it, but man, yeah. Or there's the
Pretty much.
other one. You adapt to what the real world is dealing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than poor health habit, you go to the gym, you watch what you eat. Be careful with with how many hours that you eat,
Mhm.
how many hours that you sleep. Yeah.
So chapter 2 was kind of like you have the right to your feelings, but it's almost like it has the bereavement process, like denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. So how was your, I guess, feelings journey or like your grief journey with like reading the book or like with losing your job?
Oh,
That's chapter 2. We're on chapter 2 now.
yeah, yeah. Um, my deny, I didn't the grieving process actually came with actually it didn't it came without a bargaining step.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
definitely the other
yeah,
one.
yeah.
And like,
And
I've
there
been unemployed
was
numerous times, so I understand as well. You can.
the denial and anger definitely came at the same time.
Mhm.
Like it's you don't accept that this is happening. This can't be happening, and you're. But I was definitely angry that like I'm unemployed and I can't. I'm unemployed. I can't find no work, and that definitely was something that was playing out. And anger was actually having an impact, like to the point on my health, like because I was. mm, mm, so, um, even like anger, depression. I would say maybe could have because I actually do have a health condition.
Mhm.
it even triggered, it may have even triggered some stress, even personal episodes. Yeah, like I'll call them it right now. I have epilepsy, and it and when I have and one of the things with epilepsy is that I get seizures, and stress can be a major factor. In
So
fact,
go ahead.
one embarrassing moment is that I had a seizure during a job interview.
Didn't get the job. I'm not laughing at you, but like,
oh no, I understand. No, I understand.
I've had terrible interviews, and like I do it professionally. So, like we've all had
actually
interviews.
4 years later, actually, I re-entered in contact with that same person who interviewed me. Actually,
probably enjoyed the follow-up. Like, thanks for being alive 4 years later.
No, he was concerned with me. Like there was an ambulance that actually came in. Like we met actually at a coffee shop.
By
There was
law,
an ambulance that came in, and but we actually kept in touch like years later.
Yeah. Chapter 3 is take action. The more active you are, the better you feel about yourself. So how was the chapter 3? How was the take action for you? What did you do because you were unemployed? Like, what does that mean to take action?
Well, taking action means it's just that you feel better about yourself when you actually are proactive, when you do something for yourself, rather than just mope around and just kind of fiddle with your finger and stare into nothing. If you do something for yourself that advances you, or you develop a new skill, or advances you, you feel you're gonna feel better. If you set the goals, if you do something to advance yourself, you're gonna feel better.
Like secretively, this is my favorite step in career development because it has to do with like it's like the next steps, and you can create anything with the next steps. And like this is the step where I come in, where it's like, go find a career consultant, go get someone else to help you. The journey is not alone. So like you were like, I need someone, and I'm like, that's me, I can help you.
Funny you say that, because I actually I mentioned at one point that you have to be even consistent with your job search, that you may not even know where to go next in your job search. And I even mentioned, go see a career consultant.
Purpose,
this is where you come in.
I know, right? Purpose, value, mission. Do you know why you're here on earth? Like when you're unemployed, you ask the deep questions.
And you know what? At one point, there was one statement to these questions. What is my purpose? What is my mission? To these questions, that my answer was this: I don't know. I really, had you asked me a few months ago, if you were asking me these questions, my answer was, I don't know.
Did you read this book before you came to me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like a while ago, like that's how I was able to make all of these notes.
Yeah.
I was planning to make a show about this for a while, but I was never really getting to it. And I just didn't know how to to spread out this word, but then we finally got to it, and I'm thankful that we're getting to share this discussion about this book.
Mhm.
I really recommend it.
Yeah. Like purpose for me is to help other people find their purpose. Values like integrity, sense of humor, like um I know them. I always have to look at them though.
I love that because
Humor,
I
integrity.
I value, even though one of my values is authenticity, I value sense of humor as well, because I love when people take the time to just crack a few, jokes.
Mhm.
You can't take, you can't miss a moment in the day to just crack a few jokes, just be silly, just loosen up, just,
Well, and I think your call to action in chapter 3 is like be selfish. Like really sit with self and maybe have some self-mastery moments. So that's my favorite step in career development is like the selfish step of like internal work. Chapter 4, build your self-esteem. In order to get out of a jam, go back to the idea that you're not alone. If you feel odd or ashamed because people around you have a job and you don't, you shouldn't feel lower than others. And I love that. So how did you build your self-esteem, or tell me about building your self-esteem?
well, that was, it actually was that actually took a lot of work,
It took a lot of work. I'm gonna, yep.
because I wouldn't, because because the biggest definition that I had was just, it was actually just my job.
Mhm,
That's all I was defining myself by.
mhm.
And um,
That's my hugest pet peeve is people are like, like the very first question they ask you is, "What do you do for a living?" And
what
I'm
do you
like,
do?
I don't want to tell people that like I'm this because then this makes me in that box, right? So
Yeah.
I get it.
So I had to get myself out of that. All I have in my life is my job,
Mhm.
and and uh, and move away from that. So I got myself um, actually a few just actually got myself involved in some more activities outside. After work, I actually first off I got involved in volunteering.
Mhm.
I got involved with the
You did
Edmonton.
Toastmasters too, and I like highly
Yeah,
recommend that. I love Toastmasters. Learn how to
first
speak
of
in front
all,
of people.
yeah, I got involved with the Alberta Diabetes Foundation,
Sweet.
the Edmonton International Film Festival, Edmonton Humane Society, Youth Empowerment Supports the
Yeah.
Society. So I learned, um, along with that, different types of dancing. So I got involved, with a lot of the different causes,
Mhm. Okay.
and it's a and I got and I felt overall just better just getting out of the house.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It
Um,
wasn't related. It wasn't all related to work.
mhm. Chapter 5, don't get stuck in your head. Follow up with the ideas of bad ideas being stuck in your head. The more you say,
Also,
the greater. Yeah, tell me
also
about chapter 5, getting stuck in your head, because that's a huge.
actually, before we do
Oh,
that, can we just go
yes.
to the
You,
biases in thinking? Just
yeah.
because I wanted to, no, just I wanted to quickly touch up on that. The there's all this idea that all these ideas that I'm thinking, oh, everyone thinks that I'm a loser because I can't find a work. Well, maybe sometimes they actually want me to succeed, that because I'm finding work, rather than go, oh wait, here comes that guy that can't find work. Again, not some people might be in that same position, and that the type of bias is mind reading. I don't know what they're thinking. There's like so many types of biases in thinking. I have to get myself out of that, and now I just no longer try to think about like what people could be thinking and so forth. So I just think about like, what am I thinking? But so now moving on to chapter 5.
Okay, go ahead. I'm like, you decided what? So don't get
Yeah.
stuck in your head. What did you get, or what did you pull from chapter 5?
All right. That's, well, actually chapter 5, getting stuck in your head. Actually, chapter 5 is actually very brief. It's about
It
just
sounds like it's very brief.
these negative ideas in your head.
Yeah.
Because if you that it's like that hamster that's kind of that's on that little running wheel, and the little running wheel are negative thoughts. If you you're if you get the if you get stuck on negative thoughts all the time, you're going to be running those thoughts in your head, and you're just going to be spinning on that in your head. You're just going to be spinning. Oh my God, I'm going to be stuck. So I'm going to be, there's no hope, there's no hope, there's no hope, there's no hope. And you're just running on, there's no hope. Hope. So you have to get off that negative thought wheel. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have, because those are called ruminations, and you have to get off of that.
So chapter 6, why me? Feeling like a victim or becoming empowered. So what did you learn from that chapter?
All right, in job, okay, well, in bouncing back from the job hunt or being unemployed, as I said earlier, you can there's 2 ways that you can control how you feel, or you can control your train of thought. There's always there's, oh, why me? There's always like that, and just like, but or you can try to empower yourself, be in control, and say, okay, well, I own this, and how do I own this? How do I make it my situation? Like, for example, I said, like, focusing on the past with the victim type of example. Like, I can't believe they fired me. But empowered thinking would be, look for more openings elsewhere. Because you're the victim thinking, you're going to be stuck in the past. Empowered thinking, you're thinking forward.
You're making a comeback. I like that. I'm like, yo,
yeah,
let's do this.
You're going to be the comeback kid, like Joe. Yeah, you're going to be the comeback kid like Joe Montana.
Very much so. So any last?
For those of you who are playing the home game, football reference, San Francisco 49ers.
Chapter 7, mind over money. What does that mean? What was that chapter about? It looks like a short chapter too.
Okay. No. Okay. Well, here, this is where this is the common sense alert.
Common sense.
Common sense alert. You know, you are unemployed. So therefore, there are sacrifices that you are going to have to make. Okay. Like, oh, no, there. So obviously that so as I said before, in the very first chapter, yeah, that income is gone. You know, you don't have that same cash flow coming in. You may have some savings, so therefore you're gonna have to scale back. You're not going to be able to go out and buy the clothing. Not going to be able to go to restaurants. Although right now I understand that it's the pandemic. Obviously,
Everything's coming back.
uh,
Everything's coming back in different ways.
so everything is going to be different in your spending. So you have to understand that you have to be frugal, or well, you have to really tighten up your budget. It's not it's not saying, I'm not saying that this is going to be a forever solution.
Yeah.
It's just temporary until you are back to working again.
So chapter 8, helping each other. Tell me about that chapter.
Helping each other. Okay. For partners and family. All right. Well, that one I looked at briefly for. I said, my advice was for like for couples, families. For unemployed, one thing is, that I would really suggest in these times: be there for each other.
Yeah.
Communicate, support each other. Like, this is like one of you loses their, if one of you just happens to lose their job, just support them.
Well,
don't point the finger.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't try, like, don't belittle them and say, oh, I knew that you.
It's your fault you lost your job. That's the worst thing that you can tell someone that's unemployed. I'm like, I don't want fault blaming here, but people that support each other,
you're gonna blame them and you're gonna nag them.
Yeah. I have to say, chapter 9, stop worrying, live in the now. I love the present moment. I love the thought of that chapter. What did you learn in chapter 9 about, like, stop worrying, live in the now? Like, now is predictable. What did you learn about chapter 9?
Well, there's a sentence I've written in that. If you start to worry now, you're only harming your level of stress, which are no good for your health. And
start living today.
Yeah.
You only have one life, so you may be unemployed. What are you doing today to live life? So, and that was probably the wisest advice that I got from someone, is like, oh, you're unemployed. Why don't you enjoy this time? Because when you're working, you're like directed to work and you're busy working and you're like working for someone else. So, like, be as selfish as you want when you're unemployed. And by that, I mean in a healthy, responsible, self-mastery way.
Yeah.
Take the time to enjoy the moments of today. Find one thing that like it's good to be alive today because of this reason.
Yeah, I found actually that even though I was, well, I mean, on the plus side, I did get to, I mean, on the plus side, when I was still able to really take things seriously with the gym, like in the earliest time, I was going consistently. So, that 5 times a day, I was still going there, still exercising.
Mm-hmm.
And on the levels of live for today, you know what? We actually, live for the live for today. Here's what the best part is. We actually got to talk about like a dream that I never thought could be possible, and somewhat make it true. I said I wanted to get involved in radio, but somehow, even though that was a little bit tough, we talked about it eventually led to me starting a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually now even I've actually made a draft on my pilot episode.
When is that premiering? Tell people.
All right. Well, I'm actually proud to say that my podcast is going to premiere actually Wednesday, April. Is it April 4th?
I don't know. This is your book. Well, I'm gonna write it down though. Was that the Wednesday? When drop it, like, because I'm going to drop this on YouTube. So when drop it in YouTube.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, there you go. I'm just going to.
So chapter 10, getting outside yourself. And that's exactly like start being connected to people, right? So start engaging. That really does have to do with your podcast.
Actually, you know what?
What?
But no, well, it's gonna be no, but it'll be the April. Yeah, just so I can get enough episodes taped. Yeah, I'm thinking like April.
Well, it's only January, so like January, February, March, April. So in 4 months from now. So getting outside of yourself. Chapter 10.
So here we are.
Yeah.
So okay. So here's the official announcements.
Mm-hmm.
I am proud to say officially on this channel that my podcast, Eat Your Heart Out, is launching on Wednesday, April 7th, 2021 at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Perfect. So I will definitely watch that. Which goes into chapter 10, right? Getting outside yourself. Humans are social. We need to connect and we need to engage with other people. What did you learn from chapter 10?
Well, your job doesn't define you.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge lesson.
Which I've written in written in that sentence in exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Your job doesn't define you.
So
My father even said.
Yeah, chapter 11, take care of yourself. What are the things that you've learned about chapter 11 and taking care of yourself?
Chapter 11.
Mhm. This looks like it was a big one.
Oh, it goes. I talk about my health.
Yes.
Well, after I actually had some major, my health hit a low point after I left my previous job. Because I was a pretty athletic guy my entire life, and I love going to the gym. It keeps me pretty healthy. I run on Sundays for about an hour, but after during my job hunt between 2016 to 2018, my weight ballooned up, and not for the right reasons. And also I was getting weight, not weight, but also my seizures were reoccurring more often. So right, and I couldn't, and because of that, I couldn't drive still. It was to the point where my license got suspended. And obviously, with when you have seizures, like you're not healthy enough to drive. Yeah, like I actually gained 50 pounds in a matter of about a year and a half. And I knew I had to do something because my one Christmas, my Christmas 2017, all my siblings that came over for Christmas. They were also there was my mom, my older siblings pointed out a few things that say this isn't right.
Yeah, you have one body, one mind. Be kind to it.
Mm-hmm.
Treat it well.
Yeah.
Feed yourself and exercise.
Yeah. They pointed it out that when we went to what's the name of that arcade at West Edmonton Mall?
There's no way I know that.
No, there was the arcade at Weston. My brother pointed out, okay, this is after this game, I got really exhausted, and out of breath after this game, and he said, usually you wouldn't get tired that fast. Mm-hmm. And also, one day I was when we were at Weston at the mall. Mm-hmm. My brother even noticed I'm trying on this pair of jeans. It was just my brother-in-law, and during Boxing Day, he even pointed out, okay, usually these jeans would not. How is it that these jeans barely fit you? My mom even pointing out that like I was walking up the stairs, and she described my walk as heavy. Mm-hmm. And my older sister one day, the saying, my face was puffy. Mm-hmm. So all these things happen, and even when my family doctor was concerned, mm-hmm. because he even showed me the chart between what happened in a year and a half, and I saw this. I saw a dietitian, and I made the decision to make some personal changes, and I lost some weight.
Mhm.
I lost so far 25 pounds, and
So
as a result, and also I decided to stop drinking alcohol, and and also we changed medication to try hopefully find a solution to me um, and stop having seizures. Since then, all the seizures have stopped.
yay. See?
Yeah,
So
and
final thoughts about the book. Like what's the book
sorry.
teaching? What did you learn? What's the goal? I want the whole culmination of the book. What's your final thoughts? Would you recommend it?
I absolutely I'm not, would recommend it to anyone that's struggling to find unemployment, and and I think this is a reminder of like a cycle that uh, uh, that things that typically happen.
Mhm.
When I was reading this book, it actually well, it actually was like a few years after some of this stuff had happened. And then I realized, oh my God, like I did a
Yeah,
whole bunch of these mistakes. Like
but
it's just like, okay, I did this, I did this, I
yeah,
did this, I did this, I did this. Oh my gosh, this book is actually telling me a whole bunch of this is where I went wrong.
unemployment, everyone's like it's a solo journey, but like unemployment, the same feelings come up for everyone. And at the end of the day, yes, unemployment stinks. Not getting money stinks.
It
But
is.
like that, like that's why I became a career counselor, because I was like, I need to know the theory behind like how people get their dream jobs. And like it really is self mastery. It really is having the vision, mission, purpose question.
Mhm.
Um, what's next? What's the mindset? I almost feel like that's kind of what the last chapter was about. Like it's not a marathon, it's not even a sprint. It's just like it's a building block, like a building block for like
Yeah.
the destination. So really the book, it sounds like it scales back to what are you building? So
Yeah.
yeah, tell me what you're building in your life. What did you learn from this book? Like what's the final like questions, comments, concerns?
Well, I actually even had a little final thoughts. Uh, Almost feel like like this is the segment on Jerry. This is a Springer, but this is the classier.
This is the classier version. There's
Well, this is actually the my little sum up for. This is what the little statement that I said when I started to prepare for this summary.
Mhm,
My goal was to let the unemployed know that they're not alone.
mhm,
If they feel looked down, I could be the guy that gives a little talk to see how things can get better
mhm,
or how they can turn things around.
mhm.
There's no doubt that unemployment stinks, and the list of negatives pop right away before you think of anything positive. Being someone who's worked with a great career counselor and who feels that I that the message to send out to uh, who feels that the message to send out to people, I feel it's important people be aware of many assets of coping with this situation. What should be your mindset? Where do I go from here? What's next for me? There are many of questions you should probably have for the next chapter of your life. But with this book, It's a chance at renewal at yourself, a chance at a new beginning, even at a chance to redefine yourself. And that's what this book is about. It is a roadmap to redefine yourself. If you use the right attitude, if you take care of yourself, you have the right plan of action, you can get a job and you can get out of this jam. It may not be right away, but keep in mind, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Be proactive and remember that everything is a building block that can be leading to your destination.
Perfect. Thank you very much. This has been such a great book review. Yeah, read the book.